We're going to be taking a look at Alex today. And next we're going to click Launch. And from there we would click Start. Now you're going to have the option to start in learning mode or assessment mode. Learning mode will provide you with feedback the entire time you're completing the case. In assessment mode, you do not receive any feedback until after you've submitted the case. For today's purposes, we're going to be using learning mode. Now the first thing I want to do is show my clipboard. The clipboard is going to be where all the information we collect during a case gets stored. It will also have our referral information. In this case, we were referred by our supervising SLP, and we've been assigned to treat Alex, who is an 8-year-old boy with a speech sound disorder. Across the top of the screen, you'll see baseline data, collaborators, treatment, client progress, and summary. We're going to be working and trying to get a 90% overall competency level when we submit our case. We have to get a 90 or above in order to count this for clinical clock hours. To the left of the headers are circles. These are progress meters that will gradually fill in as we make reflective decisions or select reflective questions. So let's say start case study, and we'll hear from Alex.
I'm 8 years old.
Now to begin your case, you're going to collect information in baseline data as well as collaborators. And in baseline data, we can listen to speech samples, we can read evaluation reports, even see some video from the evaluation. And we can also choose our session objectives. Now, these are not, all Alex's objectives. Some of these are foils, some of them are incorrect. So in order to find our objectives for Alex, because we have a supervising SLP, we're going to start with our collaborators. So we'll go straight to the supervising SLP and we'll hear from her.
Hello, I'm the speech pathologist who recently completed Alex's evaluation. I sent a copy of his IEP and eligibility report to your clipboard.
And if we look over on the right-hand side, we do see that Alex's IEP has appeared in our clipboard. So we'll bring that up and we can take a look at it. It's very important to read any reports, evaluations that are sent to you. Many times there is information here that's not located anywhere else in the case. In this case, we need to find Alex's goals and also the accuracy level for those goals. So you want to read carefully for these reports. We also have the opportunity to ask the supervising SLP some questions, and we're not going to ask them all. Some of these questions will be reflective, meaning they earn you points. Other ones are acceptable, meaning they don't impact your score at all. And then there'll be other ones that are rejected or incorrect. And they'll be rejected if they are insensitive, if they're not developmentally appropriate for your client, if they're using medical jargon that the listener can't understand, or if they're redundant. So let's take a look at some questions. So if we ask, when was Alex evaluated?
I completed Alex's evaluation 2 weeks ago. His IEP team met last week and his IEP was finalized. I sent you a copy of his IEP and eligibility report to your clipboard.
So now that was already in our IEP, so that would just be an acceptable question. Again, not wrong, okay to ask. A question like, what progress has he made? That's going to be reflective, and she's going to give us a little more insight there.
Alex participated in RTI, however, he was not making progress. Social implications from his speech sound errors continued, and he was referred for a full evaluation.
And there you can see our progress meter has indeed gone up. Now, if I were to ask a question like, should I target basic concepts? Well, that's going to be incorrect. Alex is only working on our TIC. There was no indication of language issues in the IEP. Again, highlighting the importance of reading those reports. So when I click, should I target basic concepts? You're going to see a red bar appear at the bottom of the screen, and that's going to be, let us know that our question was rejected.
No.
So you'll notice my progress meter did go down, and the red bar appeared at the bottom of the screen. You'll also notice that in the clipboard I have a message that says redirect number 1. This lets me know that I did miss one of the questions. So you can kind of keep a running tally of those in your clipboard. So there are other people in this collaborator section that we could interview. You want to stick with the folks that would be appropriate to this case. So we know Alex is not getting OT. or PT or services like that. So if we go to those people, we're going to lose points. And so you just want to be careful with the folks that you select. But we're going to go back to baseline data now because we did get our goals from the supervising SLP. And then we can listen to a speech sample from Alex.
So we went in the call
and we can also choose objectives. So as I was saying, remember, not all of these are his objectives. There are foils in here. One of his objectives is to discriminate between R and W at the word level. So we'll click on that. And there you can see my progress meter did go up. It's not completely full, so we want it to ideally fill all the way up and turn green. So I have some more goals to enter here. But we're going to go ahead and move to our treatment session. And you want to choose an activity that would be appropriate for Alex. So if I were to choose the Fisher-Price Little People Animal Sounds Farm for Alex, that's going to be too young for him. So I'm going to lose points if I do that. But we're going to choose a book, and then we'll choose auditory discrimination, and then we'll start our activity. Now what's going to happen here is Alex is going to listen to see if he hears an R word or a W word. And so if he hears a strong R at the beginning of a word, he's going to say success. If he hears a weak W at the beginning of a word, he's going to say fail. So in this first example, the clinician says ring, and then Alex is going to say success or fail. It's up to you to start collecting data. Ring.
success.
We'll click correct, then we'll move to the next item. Wing.
Fail.
So the clinician said wing, Alex said fail because he heard his weak W sound, so that one would be incorrect as well. We can move to the next item. Read.
Fail.
Oops. So that was a strong R and Alex said fail, so that would be incorrect. Now if I want to check whether my answer was correct or incorrect, I can always click the feedback button down here, and there you can see that we are correct. So you would just continue to go through each of these items. You do need to count the number of correct and incorrect responses, because when you get to client progress, you're going to enter that here. So from here, I would say whether his objectives were met or not met. And then we would go to our auditory discrim activity and put in the accuracy level for that activity, and then click select. Of course, we didn't do the other two goals, so we would need to target our other two goals in treatment and then come back and choose that goal here and then enter our accuracy level. Once we're finished with the treatment session, we would then go to summary, and we're going to choose the best summary note for Alex. And so we're just going to read through all of these notes and pick the one that best describes our treatment session, and then click submit. Now we're basically done, so we can submit our case. When I do this, I will close this instance of this case out, and I can't change my answers. I can always restart the case and try it again. Now we see our overall competency rating. And again, we want to be at this mastery level of 90%. You'll also notice that we have a meter here called a skills check. And that meter is rating my ability to perform specific skills. In this case, it was collecting data, and ultimately it would be listening to Alex's productions of the R sound. Down here, you can see my auditory discrimination activity was scored at 30%. So there's a difference in these two right now because I did not complete the other two activities. From here, I can export my report, turn it into a PDF, and this is what you would turn in as your assignment. And remember, when we asked the incorrect question, right here you see redirect 1 under should I target basic concepts. So you'll know what items you entered correctly or incorrectly. Under auditory discrim, we can see the first 3 items that I scored were indeed correct. And that is how an intervention case works.